friends. I hope you're hungry because today we are making gyros out of oyster mushrooms. These mushrooms are very special and they have a lot of unique properties to them. This is what they look like. And as you can see, they grow in clumps like this. And they have these really smooth tops, as well as the spores that run down the sides are very long. And they kind of look a little bit like trumpet mushrooms, but not quite. And we're actually going to take these and shred them apart in order to make our vegan gyro meat. Now I have myself 2 8-ounce boxes of oyster mushrooms. But if you're only cooking for one box should be more than enough. So let's get started. So like always, the first order of business is always washing your hands for a good amount of time and with soap. You gotta make sure that your hands are clean when you're touching any kind of food. And now that our hands are clean, it's time to make our gyro marinade. So the very first part of our marinade is adding some olive oil. And we're just gonna add this till it lines the bottom of the bowl about 1/4 inch, just like that. So we're gonna add lemon juice, and you can use it from the lemon or from the bottle. I have the bottle with me today, so that's what I'm gonna be using. And we're just gonna pour about the same amount, so about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into the mixture. After putting in the olive oil, we're gonna bring out the umami flavors, and we're gonna do that with some tamari. And you can also use soy sauce, but most of the time soy sauce has gluten. So if you are sensitive or allergic to that, steer clear. And I'm just gonna add about 2 tablespoons of that into the mixture. Next, we're gonna have a pinch of black pepper. Put in a teaspoon of dill weed, or if you have fresh dill, you can also put in a teaspoon of that as well. A teaspoon of coriander, a teaspoon of umami powder, which is basically a blend of mushrooms and other spices. This is completely optional. You can find it at stores like Target or Whole Foods, but if you don't have it, no worries. It will still taste great without. We're gonna add a teaspoon of paprika. Next, we're gonna put 2 teaspoons of onion powder into the mix. And we're gonna do the same thing with the garlic powder. We're gonna add in a whole teaspoon of thyme. And last but not least, a teaspoon of oregano. I use pink Himalayan, but feel free to use whatever you have on hand. That smells phenomenal. Now it's time to add our mushrooms to the marinade. So for the mushrooms, we're going to take our mushrooms, and they come in clumps like this. And what we're going to do is just very gently rip them apart. And we're gonna make sure we get them in nice thin strands like this, just so we can see all of those beautiful fibers in the mushroom. Now that we have our amazing mushroom marinade, we can leave this aside for 15 minutes to let the mushrooms absorb as much flavor as possible. But in the meantime, we're gonna get working on a fully vegan tzatziki sauce. For the tzatziki, you're going to need some plain unsweetened vegan yogurt. And I'm using the Kite Hill almond milk yogurt. I recommend any yogurt but a coconut yogurt for this one because that may make it slightly too sweet. So you could go with a soy yogurt or something like an almond yogurt. You're also going to need some dill, whether it's fresh or dry. Some garlic, and you can use fresh garlic, garlic powder. Today I'm gonna be using garlic powder. So we're gonna put that over here. And you're going to need some cucumber. I have both cucumbers out because we are going to be making a salad a little bit later in the video. But we're only going to need to use about half of one of these, and we can use the other 1.5 for the salad. You also will need a peeler, a grater, a bowl and spoon, as well as some lemon juice. And again, that can be either with a bottle or with lemons. Now, I don't have a precise measurement for this, but you're going to want to do about 3 times the amount that you've done of the cucumber. It looks like our mushrooms are all done marinating, which means that we get to put them into our pan. But first, we have to preheat the oven to 385 degrees. I'm going to be using a large glass dish, and we're going to be using one of these silicone baking mats on the inside. That way, cleanup is just a little bit easier. So you just pat it in there like that. And we are just going to layer these mushrooms on evenly. We don't want too many to be clumped up in the same spot, and that's why I'm using such a large pan. So you're just going to start spreading these out. One of the most important things about cooking is never overcrowding your pan or your pot, because you want everything to cook evenly. Pop these in the oven, and we're going to check on them every 10 minutes until they are nice and crispy. Alright, while those are cooking, I'm going to share with you guys a long time family recipe. It goes back 3 or maybe even 4 generations, but I'm going to share it with you today. And that is my family's version of a Greek salad. This salad is super simple and refreshing. You're going to need 1 to 2 heads of romaine lettuce. And yes, it does have to be romaine. That's how the salad works. But before we do anything with those, we are going to chop very finely and wash them. It is so important to wash your lettuce because you want to make sure that all the food you're eating is cleaned off. Alright, so I'm choosing 1 head of lettuce for today. And when I say we're going to chop it very finely, it's going to be in tiny strips. So we're just going to take the knife and we're going to go forward away from you and pull it back. And we're going to do this as skinny as you can possibly get it. Think ribbons. Okay, so next we are going to cut our cucumbers, and by that, we are going to cut them in half this way. And we are actually going to scoop out all of the seeds with a spoon. So before we add the lettuce in, we are once again going to cut these very, very thinly. We're going to cut these as thin as they can possibly get. So we're going to add our washed lettuce straight into the bowl, as well as all of these wonderful cucumbers. Then we are going to add some olive oil, and we're just going to really heavily put that on. We are going to add some lemon juice, and we are going to do about the same with that. And we're going to shake on some dill and just try to get it all over the salad. And last but not least, a generous spoonful of salt. So now, before we check on our mushrooms, they have been in there almost 30 minutes. We are going to mix up the salad, and then we can go check. So you just want to kind of mix it lightly. That looks gorgeous. This looks absolutely perfect. It is still sizzling, and it is just a wonderful golden color. While we're waiting for the mushrooms to cool down just a tad, we can start getting all of the other gyro components ready. Some people like to put purple onions on their gyros. I don't, so I'm not even going to bother cutting them. But if you like it, you make some. Well, the only thing left to do is see how it is. Since I'm still hard at work making a gluten-free pita recipe, for now we're going to use these almond flour tortillas as our gyro wrap. Alright, let's try this salad. That salad is always perfect every single time. It is my favorite salad. This is quite perhaps one of the best things I think I have ever made. Definitely make this. Alright, my wonderful friends, that is all I have for you tonight. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps so much, more than you know. And if you're looking for more recipes, the link to my website will be down below, as well as a written description of the recipe that I just covered. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a day as beautiful as you are. Alright friends, bye!